Eden Live, where I am reading all of Eden by FREI live on Facebook and on YouTube with the recorded clip they're making their way to Instagram, IGTV. We are in the second part of the Bournemouth and Boscombe Trilogy. The second part is called Revival, and this is the third installment. It goes like this. I resolved to dive in, not into the water that's way too cold for me this time of year, early summer, just after the solstice and before the sea has been warmed by long days in the sun, but into the experience of it all. There, the experience may lie a clue. If not a clue, then perhaps an insight, a truth. It could be random, it could be real. My research has yielded nothing. I have spoken to cafe owners and lifeguards, to beachgoers and hut holders, to dog walkers where there are dogs, and to doggers. Hoteliers I spoke to, two of them, and to police officers, one a young woman, the other a young man, both attractive, both friendly, both clueless as to the origin of this tradition that is still, after all, fairly new, but a tradition nonetheless. Age has no bearing on the soul of the matter, be that a culture, a person, a people, a place. Roots burrow deep, far deeper, we know, than the living that we see may suggest. Everybody, of course, has a story to tell, most of them charming, some of them harrowing, all of them sad in a way. I'm surprised to find that to be so. No matter whom I talk to and for how long, there is always a moment of sadness. How did I miss that in my perception for so long? How sadness seeps through the seasons, irrespective of who you are. Here, many remember with a scarred sense of fondness for how it all brought them together, the solstice spectacle several years ago now, when two youths had set fire to almost all of the beach huts along the seafront in the most brazen, most wanton act of arson anyone could recall. Nobody refers to it now, as some newspapers did at the time, as a massacre, and few people, though the sadness naturally prevails, are weighed down now by sorrow over the girls, the twins who'd perished aged 5, having been put to bed in one of the larger huts, while the parents were sharing a rare moment of intimacy just outside in the twinkling night of summery stars. So into each other, so absorbed by their bodies, the parents had been at the time that they didn't notice the bangs or the heat or the flames from the beach in the distance at first, or the smoke. They took them for fireworks in the sky, for being at one with each other for the first time in ages. And the chain lit up so quickly, by the time the colour gas bottle exploded and they'd rushed back to their hut, just a few yards, a few steps really, no more. It was way too late. The devastation still registers in the young mother's eyes, the young father holding her hands as they sit outside their new hut, overlooking the sea. They are no longer young now, these two, but they do have a son and a daughter, aged 12 and 14. They are not happy, but they're content, and they have no anger now in their hearts, and no hate. Then they did, they tell me. They wanted them dead, the two youths who had done this to them, who had taken their daughter. Now they feel a kind of resignation and calm. Life is like that. Life is like that, the young father, no longer young now, maybe a little young still, but proud of his son, whom he shows me a picture of, after he's shown me one of the twins, and before he showed me one of his daughter too, says, life goes on, has to, really. The young mother, who I know, although she doesn't tell me, feels guilty for having left the girls in the hut while stealing for the first time in weeks, maybe months, a bit of time just with her man to enjoy, to inhale, to taste, and to have him in the freedom of the seaside air, and after the long struggles for daily survival, in and out of the sun, smiles a wan smile of undying regret. She could have saved them, her eyes, though they be adorned by kind lines after all. Tell me, pleading for my forgiveness. I have no gift of forgiveness for her. It has nothing whatever to do with me. I only feel love for these people and thank them their honesty and their trust. Thing is, we couldn't have saved them, her husband, squeezing her hands. So in tune, he senses her anguish without needing to ask any question, tells me. It was just too quick. When this kind of catastrophe strikes you down, you have to, if you can, just get up again. Kids die in accidents, in a car crash. If we'd been lying there with them and had fallen asleep, we'd both be dead too. His voice inflects a question, the doubt, the catastrophe. It sounds a little incongruent now, but true. Maybe he wants to be sure more than he is. Who can blame them? I salute them. I wander on. I do not find any relatives of the elderly couple or the owners at the time of the dog, but Bournemouth and Boscombe has had its fair share of tragedy, an old lady tells me, maybe more than. She sits farther down the beach in front of her own hut that is hidden a little tucked away behind a bit of a bluff, and she nods at me sagely. I expect her to go on, but she doesn't. There is something in my memory that I can't recall that makes me think that I know what she's talking about, but the look she gives me suggests that the time isn't right. And so I don't ask, and she doesn't tell. Some things are best left unspoken, yet for a while. And so I take the plunge. The Bournemouth and Boscombe nude beach stroll. I have never been naked in public. I'm innately shy. People don't think so. They think I'm confident, bold even. I'm not. It's the last Sunday in June, and I'm curious, will it happen? And how? The weather is glorious, hot, more than 30 degrees. I shower, smear sun cream all over my body, wear shorts and a shirt and flip-flops, the near compulsory hat and the shades, and head out. It's just gone lunchtime, and I expect to be disappointed. For a while, it looks like I might be. And then, suddenly, unnoticeably, almost at first, then more and more obviously and quite naturally, it happens. Here, a naked person, another one there. A couple, a group, some talking, some smiling, without exception, all sunning themselves and their bodies in the luxurious heat. They are strolling along the beach. As I get there, they are vastly outnumbered by clothed people, but the clothed people don't bat an eyelid, with the exception perhaps of the odd tourist. I am on my own, and I don't know how to do this now. Where should I stop to undress? I feel lost. I must look it too. I need not fret, it turns out. A big burly man with a lot of hair on his chest and a belly protruding far over a very small penis beams at me bearing the broadest of grins. You look just like someone who's come to stroll in the nude. For the duration of half a thought, I want to say, sorry? Who? Me? Oh no, don't worry about me. I'm just looking for a place to buy ice cream. But his friend smiles at me too, and I like her for that. She's generous, kind. Their mutual friend, I assume, seems to be thinking about something, but he too gives me a nod of encouragement, and so I say, yes, I am. I hope you're wearing sunscreen, the big man who steadies my arm as I step out of my shorts asks me, and his friend cocks his head a little as if to comment, not strictly endorsing, but not dismissing either, my soft cotton trunks. I take them off too, and the shirt, and I put them all in a little backpack I've brought along for this purpose, and I step back into my flip-flops and put on my hat and say, thank you. My name is Sebastian. We shake hands, and they tell me their names, and I put on my shades, and we stroll. And that was the third instalment of the second part of the Bournemouth and Boscombe Trilogy, which is volume 10 in the Eden Miniature series, which is the printed and ebook published version of Eden by FREI, which you can find at edenbyfrei.net. That's Eden by FREI, FREI.net. I normally do this on a Monday and a Wednesday. Today is unusual, slightly for me to go out on a Thursday like this. So I hope you join me again next time when we continue with part 2 of the Bournemouth and Boscombe trilogy. Until then, take good care, love and little love, and see you very soon. Bye-bye.